Welcome back to the Cozy Rosy Crochet channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some of my yarn recommendations for all your spring and summer makes. On days like today where the sun is shining, those yarns that we reach for can really make the difference on how wearable and how comfortable our spring and summer makes are. If you've ever made something and then put it on and realised that it's not suitable for the weather you want to wear it in, this video is for you. I'm going to be walking you through some of my favourite fibres and fibre blends to take your projects from cold weather through to warmer weather. And please don't worry, we are not yarn snobs in this room. There's going to be selections both high-end, medium price range and some of your budget options too, both for people in the UK and in the US. So before we dive into all the specific fibres that are really great for the warmer weather, I want to talk through a little bit more about why selecting the right fibre can make all the difference when it comes to warmer weather wears. When that temperature gauge starts to rise, you are going to be looking for fabrics that are breathable, lightweight, and of course comfortable against your skin. And ideally we are looking to create with fibres that are not going to be too heavy when they're layered as well. It's really interesting how much the fibre content can play a huge role on these elements, and it's not necessarily the yarn weight that has the biggest impact, it really is that fibre. Of course, we have to start with the absolute classic when it comes to warmer weather makes, and that is 100% cotton. As a fibre, it is of course breathable and it can be very, very lightweight. And I always find that those 100% cotton yarns are really good for those harder wearing projects that are going to last a lifetime. Things like your crochet tops, your cardigans, your bags, your market bags, all those kind of projects that are going to last you a long time and not look overworn when you have worn them quite a while. Now, of course, we are aware that cotton is very inelastic. So if you are someone who prefers a little bit more drape in your projects immediately, then most definitely 100% cotton might not be for you. So I'm going to showcase some of my absolute favourites right here, especially for those projects. You've got the Paint Box Yarns Cotton DK and the Paint Box Yarns Aran. These are both 100% cotton and they come in such a huge variety of colours. These are great for tops, cardigans, even bags themselves. Another alternative for you is this Rico Creative Cotton, also in an Aran. Now they do come in double knit size 3 as well, but I have quite a limited number of colour choices in my selection, and this green I really like for those bold spring makes. Another great cotton for your bags is this Maggie and Me 100% recycled cotton. This is shade Amethyst, and you're going to see this yarn in particular feature in a remake of one of my patterns very, very soon. Now that I've shown some of these cottons, you can see why I was so inspired to make this video today. It is a beautifully blue sky out there, but thinking about if you are looking to make garments, you may find that the 100% cotton is a little bit inelastic, but actually if you are someone who prefers a bit more drape immediately, because cotton does soften when it's washed, you might want to look into some cotton blends instead, and I have a huge array to share with you for lots of inspiration. I'm trying to think where to start. Let's go for a slightly budget-friendly start, which is this Sirdar Snuggly Replay. It is a double knitting weight yarn. It comes in 50-gram balls. It is a really nice cotton acrylic blend, a 50-50 blend of cotton and acrylic, and it is actually quite soft. One of the things that people dislike about 100% cotton is it can feel a little bit rougher on the skin. The minute it is mixed with a bit of acrylic, it makes a whole lot of difference. Another value yarn that I have is one that is from my work. So I will say that this video is marked sponsored because yes, I did use my staff discount to purchase this Knitcraft Cotton Blend Plain. So this again is a 50-50 mix of cotton and acrylic. It says that it's a double knit. I would say it's actually closer to an Aran, and the packaging even recommends a 5mm crochet hook. Always been a bit of a bugbear of mine, but it does work up as a double knit if you use a 4mm hook. But if you want it to really feature that drapey feel, I would recommend using a 5mm hook with this yarn. For some slightly higher budget yarns, where do I go next? Because I have so many to choose. Okay, so the next one I'm going to pick is the Rico Fashion Cotton light and long tweed. Now I picked this up at a bargain price because unfortunately my local yarn shop had to close and she was just clearing her stock. I do not know if this colourway is still available, but it is absolutely stunning. So this again is a cotton blend. It has 47% cotton, 43% acrylic, a little bit of polyamide and some viscose as well. So viscose is similar to bamboo, and we're going to move on to some bamboo blends in a moment, but this is also a linked chained cotton, if that makes sense. You can see where I turn it that it looks a little bit more like it's interwoven into itself. There are a couple of blends that are like this today, and it gives a little bit more structure to the fibre when you're working with it, and it keeps it a little bit lighter and airier because they use smaller strands linked together to give you great stability in that fibre. I really like the colourway on this one, and it is super soft in the hands. I'm going to talk to you about some of the posher fibres that I have to hand at the moment, and they are both from Knotted by Niche. The mulberry one you see here is a fluffy yarn, and it's a very new to niche fibre. It's called Alpa Cotton Cloud Sport. It's a blend of 51% baby alpaca, 49% Pima cotton, and it is beyond soft in the hand. From my understanding, it has a run of cotton through the centre of it, and then the fibres from the alpaca are added, which is why you can see the different colour. That is the colour of the cotton, and the alpaca is what is the colour in this yarn. This is for me to swatch up. I don't even know if I'm allowed to share this right now. I hope I am. You're not going to see this one again for a little while. It's definitely going to be a seasonal change, but more towards the end of the year. Now, the second beautiful yarn that I have by Knotted by Niche already has a project assigned to it. This is her cotton wool DK. So it is a blend of 50% superwash merino and 50% Pima cotton. Now you might be wondering, what is Pima cotton? It is a posh cotton. Cotton can be quite controversial. There are organic cottons out there and there are normal bog standard cottons. I think it's very important to note that from an environmental impact, whether your cotton is organic or not, it uses the same amount of water to produce. And I'm not talking about the growing required of the plant, I'm talking about the production of cotton itself. So from an eco point of view, cotton is cotton. In my world, that's where I'm judging it. But anyway, Pima cotton is a higher grade of cotton, and it is generally an awful lot softer than your typical cotton you'll find in a generic brand, unless they've specified Pima cotton. So this yarn is already reserved for a project and will be going on my hook tomorrow. When this video comes out, this will be going onto my hook the very next day, and I cannot wait to work with it. It has been hand dyed. It is the most stunning colourway, and I cannot wait to share this finished project with you. As you can see, there are 1,000,001 different options of blending cotton, and there is one more I want to mention, which even in my world, because it's not hand dyed and it's commercial, it's on the pricier side of things. So the Rowan Soft Yak DK. Now, I have used a lot of this already. I've made a hexagon cardigan in it. It is now a display piece. Now, the blend of these fibres is a little bit different. So this yarn is a blend of 76% cotton, 13% yak wool, and 9% nylon. Again, much like the light and long from Rico, it is a linked chain fibre. It's incredibly strong. You do need scissors to cut it. The sheen you can see here in the sunshine is not as visible in real life, if that makes sense, like when you're wearing it inside. But the softness is absolutely second to none. So there is one other blend that I'm going to mention on its own, because again, I use it a lot. And that is a cotton bamboo blend. Now, again, I have a number of choices for this for you to have a look into. And the reason I'm so obsessed with it is actually not this yarn. This is the Stylecraft Naturals Bamboo Cotton. Was my second time of using a bamboo cotton blend. For me, the drape is always second to none if you're mixing those two fibres together. It has a really soft, silky structure to it, and it has the most beautiful drape. I also find that rather than using 100% cotton, it gives your project a more polished finish because you get that very slight sheen from the bamboo as well. If you're looking for something that is a little bit more elegant, a little bit more floaty, a cotton bamboo blend really is your number one choice. I also find that it feels quite cool against my skin. So the Stylecraft Naturals Bamboo Cotton is one of my favourite choices. It is a 60% bamboo and 40% cotton blend, and that extra little bit of bamboo makes it super soft compared to the first ever bamboo cotton blend I ever used, which was the Lion brand Kubu. So for Lion brand Kubu, they have slightly more cotton in it over the rayon from bamboo, which is at 51% cotton, 49% bamboo, and this yarn is actually approved for use with knitted knockers, so it is good enough to go against your skin, and if they're approved by that, they are certainly good enough for my skin, which is what drew me to this Kubu first of all. Now, it is possible to actually get hold of 100% bamboo, and I have made a project using 100% bamboo. It was Lion brand Trubu. This is going back a number of years. When I first released the Bittersweet Margaret skirt, one of my testers made it in Trubu, and I loved it so much that I remade it in the exact yarn that she had used, and it gets a lot of attention at the shows, and I always make sure people touch it because in my opinion, there is nothing softer than 100% bamboo that is not going to be irritating on anybody's skin. There is a lot of people probably feel the same about Tencel. I can't even bring myself to touch Tencel because I find it way too squeaky, whereas the 100% bamboo, I don't actually have any of that Trubu left. The only one I have left is some sparkle, but I wanted to show it to you. And I really hope these sparkles show up on screen because they are truly beautiful, truly blah. Too many trues here, but it is really, really gorgeous. The challenge that people find with 100% bamboo is that it is slippy on your hook. It can be splitty as well. So even I have to slow down my stitches a little bit when I'm working with it, which isn't necessarily the case when you're blending bamboo with cotton. Once again, it is a lovely, cool fabric against your skin, and I can't rate anything mixed with bamboo highly enough. Who knew there were this many fibres to talk about? And this is just in my yarn stash. This is terrifying. So there is something that's a little bit underrated, and I think a lot of people shy away from it because when we see it in its clothing form, normally it creases. They tend not to be easy wear garments, but actually when we are crocheting with it, it can be quite a pleasure. Now, I don't have an awful lot of this in my stash, but I did find some oldie yarn that I'd stashed away from other projects. So we are going to be talking a little bit about linen yarn. I do really feel that it is underrated. It is incredibly breathable, very, very strong and durable, and 100% perfect for hot weather. We know this. The minute that spring hits, the shops fill up with linen garments ready for people to buy and put in the wardrobe and then never wear because by the time they get anywhere, it's creased. The joy of crocheting with linen is quite an experience. It doesn't split in the same way that 100% bamboo does. And you can get it, again, blended as well, which can be quite a nice thing to do. It can feel a little bit stiff when you're using 100% linen, but it softens so, so beautifully when it's washed and cared for. I think if you are open for trying something new, then most definitely keep your eyes peeled for a linen blend. I have a couple here to show you, which is the Kotlin, which is from Knit Picks or We Crochet. They are the same company. And this is a 70% tanjui, I don't know how to say that, cotton, and 30% linen. This was actually the yarn that I used to make my original Bittersweet Margaret skirt. And if it fitted me, I would still be wearing it because it has washed and worn so well over the years that it is super, super soft now. Another one to share with you is this Lindy chain. This is also a linen blend. It's 70% linen and 30% Pima cotton. It's called Lindy chain because once again, it is a chained fibre. So it is very much lightweight. It feels like it weighs absolutely nothing. Even this 50-gram ball in my hand weighs absolutely nothing. And it is already soft. Because it's used that Pima cotton, once again, it has that higher quality cotton in it to start with. And then you're going to wash it and it's just going to get even more soft. I have a few of these balls left. I have a plan. It might not be for this year because as you can tell, I have a lot of yarn to get through. So when it does come time to choose a yarn for your project, there are a couple of things that are really worth thinking about. Really consider what you are making. Is it a garment or is it an accessory? How do you want it to feel? Does it need structure in the project or is it going to be a drapey, soft garment? And how warm do you tend to run? If you are a warmer-blooded person or you're of a certain age, do consider how often you're going to have to wash the garment. Is it an outer garment? Is it something that you need it to be easy care? If you are a cooler person, do you need to use a heavier weight fibre to trap more of that warmer air? What I would say is if you are specifically looking at making garments, you usually want a softer yarn, a yarn that's going to give you that good drape, and a yarn that doesn't feel heavy even when it's on the ball. If you are one of those people that has only ever stuck to using acrylic fibres in their projects, first and foremost, you're not alone. This might be the perfect time for you to go ahead and try something a little bit different, even if it is something just as simple as a cotton acrylic blend. You'll be amazed at how much your stitches will be transformed, both with stitch definition, with the coolness to the fabric when it's worn, and it can really have a positive impact on that finished look of your project. I've popped a link in the description box which will take you through to my own website where you can find a link for each of the yarns that I've shared in this video today. And if you have a yarn recommendation that I've not mentioned, please mention it in the comments below so that people can go ahead and give it a try. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to hit that like button and of course subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on any of my other videos again. And hopefully I will see you in the next one.